According to data from the World Meteorological Organization, there's an increasing number of unusual or unprecedented extreme weather events. What's causing these?
So, according to the recent reports, extreme weather events, and especially unusual weather events, have been increasing significantly. But we have to be careful to attribute all of these extreme weather events to climate change, because a lot of extreme weather events, such as flooding or negative impacts related to typhoon damage and so on, it's also related to other issues such as bad government planning, flood infrastructure, or over urbanization and other factors. We cannot simply blame climate change for people being vulnerable. Being vulnerable is also an outcome of existing inequalities. It's also an outcome of political decisions made by relevant governments or just by unequal power relations in society.
And what better choices can governments make to prevent the global climate crisis from worsening?
Well, governments need to take accountability. Accountability in the sense of if a community has been struck by severe flooding or have been struck by an extreme weather event or extreme climate event, then they take accountability in which they try to investigate or identify where were their shortcomings. Some communities are more at risk of flooding because that has been a political decision. You will see that the most wealthy parts of that city are not having flood risk at all. So you can ask yourself the question, well, why that's the case. So an example would be the area that's called Shutsedao, which is part of Taipei's flood zone. A lot of people in Shutsedao are aging, are marginalized, have a lower socioeconomic status. And throughout history, that probably explained why they are at the flood zone of Taipei.
The World Meteorological Organization's State of the Climate report shows that extreme weather events in 2024 displaced a record number of people. So, what is a climate refugee? And is this even a useful term?
We have to be very careful when we label someone as a climate refugee, because then we are also shifting away the responsibility of why some people tend to move in the first place. Look, if we talk about displacement, that's a different thing. If there's a huge flooding, you're not able to stay, you move out. Flooding might not be necessarily caused by climate change, but it might be exacerbated by climate change. But if we really talk about the doom scenarios of billions of climate refugees knocking on the doors of the West because they want to be let in, then I would say, well, that's an extreme simplification of a very complex situation which many rural and local communities, especially in the global south, face every day. Because I'm not saying they're not facing the negative impacts of climate change, but the reasons why people migrate are very complicated and are structured by many different factors, including the global economy, including people's personal desires, including globalization, including industrialization of countries. So, what I would like to argue for is to bring politics back into discussions on the climate crisis, on discussions on climate refugees, and on discussions on what constitutes a negative impact of climate change, because politics plays a very important role here as well.